The Friday Sports Riot.
I'ma start a ride.
The Friday Sports Riot on SportstownChicago.com.
What's up? This is the Friday Sports Riot on SportstownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Hoppy.
And I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
Call the show 630-403-5200. That's 630-403-5200. And Ryan, who do we have on the phone line?
On the Illinois Center for Broadcasting hotline from Yahoo Sports Radio and KLAA in Los Angeles, we have Travis Rodgers on the line. What's up, Travis?
Hey, guys. How are you?
We are doing good. And now, since we are from Chicago, I want to get your take on this. What happened to the Bulls as they lost to the Wizards in 5 games?
Well, I think they probably just ran out of gas more than anything else. I mean, I think that they were one of those teams that they're one of the rare NBA teams that plays at maximum effort during the regular season. I think most NBA teams kind of pick and choose their spots or when they want to give maximum effort. I think the Bulls are one of those teams that plays hard every single night, and I think that's the difference. I think that's why they win games during the regular season. They're not the, without Derrick Rose, they're not the most talented team in the league, and then all of a sudden you get into the postseason where you're playing against other talented teams that all of a sudden are giving max effort, and I think the talent gap shows they really had a hard time scoring points, and Joakim Noah is a wonderful player, but outside of him, and even with him, he's not the most dynamic offensive player. They're just undermanned offensively without Rose.
And now with the Washington Wizards playing the Indiana Pacers with the series tied 1 game apiece, who do you think is going to win that series?
I think probably Washington, but I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana somehow finds a way to get through it. I mean, it's hard to remember because they've been bad for so long.
Yeah.
But Indiana was the best team in the NBA, or certainly the best team in the Eastern Conference for about 2.5, 3 months, and they came unglued in the last, 8 weeks or so. But prior to that, they were really, really good. If they could find a way to win a series against a Washington team that's not bad, but I certainly don't think that they're great. I think that they could, but forced to pick, I'd pick Washington for no other reason than Indiana's been terrible for a couple of months.
What do you think of Roy Hibbert overall? He had a good game in Game 2, but that seemed like that was his first good game in all of the playoffs. What is going on with Roy Hibbert?
I think if anybody knew the answer to that, they'd be a very, very popular person. I don't think Roy Hibbert knows what's going on with him. There's no good explanation. There's chemistry issues in the locker room, reportedly. There's a loss of confidence. There's a loss of, a million different things, but they're not saying anything. He's not saying anything, but clearly his game has left him. I do think that we tend to kind of forget that because we see him on TV, because they make a lot of money, because of this, that, or the other reason, that we forget that they are human beings, they are people, and clearly there's something going on in his world, whether it's a lack of confidence, whether some of the rumors that you read on the internet are true, I have no idea, but there's something going on in his head other than basketball. He had a nice game the other night. He seemed to find himself again, but one good game in 3 months certainly isn't going to change my opinion.
Do you think somebody like Paul George could start to turn it on in the playoffs too, or do you think that maybe this team as a whole isn't just sort of they're not really doing well together?
Well, I don't think they're doing well together at all. Paul George is a really nice player, but once you get into this point where there's only 8 teams left, you got to have more than just one guy. And right now, George has been okay, but you look at the other teams that are left, whether it's Miami or whether it's the Clippers or whether it's Oklahoma City or San Antonio, the teams that are very, very good have more than just one guy. And Indiana right now has George, and even George is less than 100%. I mean, possible? Yes. Likely, I don't think so.
Now let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder real quick. And they're playing the Los Angeles Clippers, and of course, Kevin Durant won MVP a couple nights ago. Do you think he was well deserving of that MVP? Yeah,
I do. I think that he had the best year of anybody in the league. I think LeBron James is the best player in the world, but I think Kevin Durant had the best season in the NBA.
Yes.
He's 7 feet tall. He can shoot the three. He can put it on the floor. He can go to the rim. He can defend when he wants to. He can get his own shot. He's undefensible. He can bring it up the court. He handles. There's absolutely nothing he can't do. And you could say the exact same thing about LeBron. But I think I think we've entered that point in LeBron's career where we're looking to give it to other guys. That LeBron is the best player. We all know LeBron's the best player, but we decided to give it to Kevin Durant because he had a great year. And I don't want to say it's a lifetime achievement award. He's only 24 years old, but it felt like now would be a good time to give it to him because we can give it to LeBron every season from now until the end of time.
How good could Kevin Durant be when it's all said and done? Could he be one of the all-time greats?
Yeah, I think so, for the reasons I just mentioned. I mean, he's unguardable. If you put a smaller guy on him, he just shoots right over the top. If you put somebody his size on him, he's much quicker. Nobody can stay with him. He's Larry Bird with another 2-3 inches. He's a wonderful, wonderful player. I think when it's all said and done, he might be the greatest tall shooter in the history of the NBA.
And now moving on to the NFL draft, what was your overall take last night?
Honestly, I don't get into the draft too much. I watch it. I know who went where to a certain point, but I'm a big believer in that nobody knows anything about any of this stuff. If they did, there wouldn't be a Jamarcus Russell. There wouldn't be a Ryan Leaf. Tom Brady wouldn't fall to the 6th round. I think they're educated guesses at best, and until we're 2 or 3 years removed from where we are right now, anybody that's telling you they know what the grade is or who they should have gone is howling at the moon. Nobody knows anything when it comes to the draft.
Do you think Jadeveon Clowney could be a good fit for the Jacksonville Jaguars? And do you think that by getting him and the quarterback that they got, that they could really do some damage in the next few years?
Well, I'm assuming you mean the Texans. Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
It's a good fit for him in the sense that you put him with J.J. Watt and nobody can really get double teamed, or certainly can't double team both of them at the same time. Yeah, I think it's a good fit, but you need a quarterback, and until you have a quarterback, everything else is secondary. And right now, we don't know if they have a quarterback.
How good could Blake Bortles be for Jacksonville? Because this is a team that has been bad for so long that they need something to go right for them. And people are trying to say that he could be the next Big Ben. What is your take?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. I haven't seen the guy play at all. I know he went to a relatively small school. He hasn't played against very good competition. He was a guy that wasn't on anybody's radar a year ago. I believe in pedigree. I think if you played in the SEC or the Pac-12 or the Big Ten, and then what you've accomplished in college means a lot more than if you went to Central Florida or wherever it is that he went to. I don't know. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a track record of screwing things up, so I wouldn't be surprised if this blew up in the face, too.
Right.
How good could the Vikings be with Bridgewater? Could this be the way they turn around their franchise?
Yeah, if he turns out to be any good, and again, I have no idea if he's going to be good, and I don't think anybody else does either. If he's good, if you got a good quarterback, you got a chance. The defense is halfway decent. They got Adrian Peterson. But, I would be making things up if I told you if I thought Teddy Bridgewater was any good. I don't know.
The Bears took the Virginia Tech cornerback, Kyle Fuller. Do you think that he could be a good fit? Because the Bears obviously needed help on their defense, and I think, at least, that he could be a really good fit for Chicago.
Yeah, I think it was a good decision. As far as the position goes, I think that they need help there. They can score points. They got... you've got Brandon Marshall, you've got Jay Cutler, you've got the guy that can run the ball in that 40. They don't need a lot of offense. Their offense is pretty good. I think that Mark Trestman did a really good job offensively. The question is whether they can stop anybody, and the more defensive players they get, the better chance they have.
And before we let you go, Travis, where can people find your work online and on the radio?
Yeah, a good place to find me online is yahoosportsradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at Travis Rodgers, and KLAA in Southern California. That's a good place to find me, too.
Well, have a good weekend, my man, and we'd love to have you on again.
Yeah, sure thing. Anytime, fellas. Thank you.
All right,
thanks, Travis.
Okay.
And that was Travis Rodgers of Yahoo Sports Radio and KLAA in Los Angeles, as he joined us to talk about the NBA, a little bit about the Bulls, and the NFL draft. What did you think, Super Rich?
I thought that I really liked his NBA talking about Kevin Durant specifically, that he is the MVP, and we know that he won the MVP. He was definitely the most valuable guy, on all NBA rosters this year. He was definitely the main guy. And also, if you want to call and talk about everything Travis Rodgers said, you can call 630-403-5200 and talk about that if you'd like.
And we will be right back on the Friday Sports Riot on SportsTownChicago.com.
The Friday Sports Riot on SportsTownChicago.com.